All right, greetings everyone, and welcome. As I notice my microphone is turned slightly down, hopefully that won't be a problem. But for the previous video, which is already uploaded, but today we are going to be talking about global news as well. And this video will be going up slightly later than the previous video because reasons. Anyway, so Advent Children is winding down on JP. There's only about, I think, about a week and a few days left. And then, boom, gone. On to the next thing for JP, which is the new version of Gilgamesh, as you previously saw in the video. If you want to go get all the details about him, or if you just want to watch that video again, give Umbra a little extra ad revenue, bless you. But today we're here to, in this video, we're specifically going to talk about global stuff this week, and I'm not going to go too far out of the way and be like, oh my god, like this is the definitive thing to do with the Advent Children collaboration. But Advent Children collaboration on JP was a really big success. If you consider how WOTV's been doing recently on JP, it brought in extra players, a lot of extra players, old players, new players, and whether or not those players stick around, probably we can figure that out. But for the actual collaboration, it did bring in the views, and that's probably just generally a good sign that WOTV's not completely dead yet on JP, and we'll see the effect that this collaboration has on global, whether or not it is in fact a big boost, or whether it's just kind of ho-hum. But all of that remains to be seen. And as I said, clearly there's only certain little bits and pieces coming this week. Sephiroth and as well Kadash will be coming in further weeks. And given that we're getting a brand new Katana wielder on JP, I'm hesitant to talk about Sephiroth and Kadash too terribly much. And at least for this video, I would like to just focus on the two characters and the vision card that we have here, and whether or not I think that they are worth it. I will, of course, be updating this as JP, gets more and more stuff. So just keep an eye out for it. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think you know how it goes. So first off, Cloud, the hero who conquered doubt. Sure. Cloud is definitely a high-tier character. He is one of the better characters that you could invest into. First off, his new version is really cool. Omni-Slash version 5 is an awesome-looking limit burst, and overall, his performance on JP is quite strong in both Monolight teams and Great Sword teams. As a matter of fact, I would go so far as to say that they are still, even with everything that has happened on JP, a very, very good option to play the game, be competitive, and have fun with this character. I think that this character is quite good, and I do not want to say that this character is bad in any way, shape, or form. Now, recently on JP, Tier 0 is an actual spring. Spring June is a thing. Ashen Mont is a thing. A Sephiroth is definitely a thing. Those are all Tier 0 characters without a doubt in my mind. When it comes to Cloud, while the highest echelon of characters and battles, I would put him slightly lower on the overall average, just taking a look at what the other characters are. But again, don't want to detract from the fact that Cloud is an absolutely fantastic character, and if you get him, I think you'll be using him for a good long time to come. If there's anything that we've proven on JP, it's that none of the new characters who are 100 costs since this power jump have been remotely removed from the higher echelon tier. So Cloud has a very good chance of staying up there for a good long time. And again, there's a lot of variety here. You don't necessarily need to have all of the most powerful things to do it. There's a ton of great sword cards that exist and can easily retrofit to Cloud. You have A2, Thunder, Astrius, Spring June. These are all great pairings with Cloud and things that I do recommend. So yes, when we take a look at just JP's history over the last little bit, Cloud is quite good, and I still give him a thumb up. I would put him as a tier 1, maybe a tier 0.5 character, at least for now on G. But anyway, his Omni Slash destroys barriers that reduce physical damage, which is great for other physical damage dealer characters. You know, chain resistance for lowers chain type resistance. He does most everything that you would want. Raises own area attack, resistance, piercing rate for 3 turns, which is generally good. Works well with June, who also does a lot of AoEs, so that's great. And they're both great sword. Great sword. Anyway. And Indomitable Refocus Shell, which might actually be more valuable than people give it credit for, given that the new version of Gilgamesh will also be a magic type damage dealer. This could be generally pretty good for Cloud to be a little bit stronger against mage damage type attacks if Gilgamesh does in fact end up being a smash hit, which could be likely since he is an FFP character. They have a much higher chance of setting the meta. Anyway, so yes, Cloud, I think I've talked about enough about him. Let's jump down to Tifa. Now, Tifa is a first copy free character and a 90 cost character. Is a new strike damage character, and these are my thoughts as of right now when it comes to Tifa. First off, no, she is not tier 0. She is not tier 0.5. She's a tier 1 character. She is by far, from my experiences, the best strike character out there because of the more recent power jump. Do not let the 90 cost fool you. Also, she is incredibly good at dealing frostbite, which can really screw over some enemy teams. Now, with Fire's resurgence, it has put a little bit of a crimp of her being totally meta, but don't discount her. There's been even times where I've gone up against mono ice with my triad of very strong tier 0 characters and still lost. You know, arena maps, status effects, all of that stuff can still play a little bit of a difference, and her at 140 again is quite good. She is also the bonus character for the Trial of Reckoning event for extra large bonus, so you'll probably be running this character anyway. Long and short, Tifa's back. She's much better than she's ever been. Quite a good investment for extra resources if you have any, or just a slow build. But much like me, for players who don't necessarily want to do too much with her, I do recommend just throwing her in the barracks and building her over a long period of time. It'll probably be worth it in the long run, since these characters sometimes do end up being good in certain content matches. So yes, lowers chain type resistance, deals 2 hits of damage extra low, critical evasion, lowers units attack resistance for 2 targets by a set percentage. That's just really good all the time. And you know, you look down here, bestows barrier on self, bestows absorption of portion of HP damage out for 4 turns. So she's got a lot of stuff in her kit that's quite good. And yeah, I really quite like Tifa. Mine's 89, but don't let that fool you. All right, next up, or no, it isn't 79. Oof, really? Okay. Oof, making a fool of myself. Advent Children, you are VC. Now, this VC, Great Swords, Sword Red Mages, and Sword Warrior. There is definitely a, teams that would love this. Attack up, critical evasion up, attack resistance, unit attack resistance, and debuff reduction. It's a good VC, attack up and HP up, and for Cloud AC only, also it looks like there's a little bit of a bonus, slash attack up, slash attack resistance piercing rate up, which is interesting that they are throwing that kind of a bonus. I didn't think Global was still doing that, but here we are. And yeah, I'm not too terribly sure whether this is, this VC is generally nice, but there is a VC coming out next week that I do think we should talk a little bit more about, which is the Cloud and Tifa on the bike VC. which is luck, agility up, magic resistance up on that VC. Attack up and strike attack resistance penetration for unit effect. It is more of a Tifa orientated vision card just because it's more set to be equipped on a strike type unit, but it is an agility VC and it does have increased magic resistance. So if I was saying, you know, given that magic might be making a resurgence on JP, if you were considering a VC, I mean, the final VC from this collaboration is the Katana VC, and the more, you know, the physical damage VC. This VC is essentially like an attack up, which I don't feel that the game is necessarily short on. So it's fine, but I don't think it's really considered to be that great of resources. Next week one might be the target one if you're looking for great swords, just because the magic resistance bonus is quite nice. The accuracy increase is pretty good. And it might even have some unique bonuses for both Cloud and Tifa, potentially. If it's already been revealed, I apologize for not knowing, but that would be my guesstimate, since they are giving this one a bonus for Cloud, which is interesting. And while it does give slash attack up and slash attack resistance piercing rate up, I don't think this BC will put Cloud into tier 0, just more of a comfortable 0.5. Either way, pretty good, but not necessary. So yeah, that wraps up taking a look at the global news for today. I think it's quite good as to what we are looking at for this. I think that you can't go wrong with Cloud or with Tifa, but make no mistake, for all intents and purposes, and Sephiroth is the strongest character from this version, and I very much doubt that any changes are really going to go away from that. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and hope to see you later on streams if any of those are happening. Later.